in the coming days because we expect to get even more rain, which you have to think about this. For as dry as California is known to be, that has not been the case this January. Take a look. We are dealing with several locations that are likely going to end up in their top 10 wettest Januaries on record. Keep in mind, even more rain is expected in the coming days. Fresno is looking at number 2. Reno is at their number 1 wettest January on record. Redding, California at number 2. San Francisco sitting at number 3. In fact, a majority of the rain they've had has just been in the last 60 hours there at the airport. Boise and Medford also not too far, but keep in mind a lot of these locations are expected to get even more rain in the coming days, so those numbers may change a bit. We are keeping an eye on this low. Now, it's basically going to skirt down to the southeast right along the coastline. As it does, it will bring very heavy rain to the areas along the coast, not to mention some strong winds. But then once you start to getting into the interior locations, we're talking about the potential for the snow. But it's really the rain along the coast that's going to be the biggest concern. And the reason for that is this is where a lot of our major cities are. This is where a lot of the major interstates are, and not to mention your airports. So significant delays are going to be expected today and tomorrow in San Francisco, also stretching down towards Los Angeles, where we actually have even some thunderstorms and a ground stop. So again, keep that in mind, not just at airports, but also along the interstates as well. Again, this is going to be the future radar going into Monday. Again, still see that low as it just kind of slides down to the south and east, bringing some of those heavy rain showers to the coastline. And again, most of these locations picking up an extra 1 or 2 inches, Alex, but we know in California, that's all it takes to trigger some of those mudslides. And so we take a look at the latest. Again, we've got that low pressure system that is sitting right now over the mid-Atlantic. It will continue to skirt up the east coast, and as it does, it's going to pull in all of that moisture source from the Atlantic. Now, along the coast, that means mainly rain, but a little bit further inland where we already have that cold air in place, that's where we're going to be dealing with the potential to have a wintry mix, or in some cases entirely snow when this system makes its way to the north. Now, just to the west of Boston, we have some of those areas already starting to pick up at least a few light snow showers. Probably not enough to really make a big impact yet, but that is going to change because the wind is going to start to pick up, the snow and the rain is going to get heavier, and that's going to cut down on visibility and likely make travel very difficult in the coming next 24 to 48 hours. Once it's all said and done, these are a look at the accumulations that we are actually able to look at. Most widespread will be about 3 to 5 inches, but not out of the question. Syracuse, Burlington to get, say, around 5 to 8 inches. And then obviously up in the northern tier of Maine around Caribou, we could be talking at least a foot of snow in some of these locations, again, because that cold air will already be set in place. Burlington, so far for the day today, you should be fine. Cloudy skies, but the moisture will not have yet arrived. That comes in tonight. Temperatures below freezing means mostly that first round will be snow. Then by Tuesday, the temperature hovers just above freezing, so likely a little bit of a rain-snow mix, and then the temperature comes back down to change back over into snow by Tuesday night. Well, as he talked about it, more is on the way, and so that's what we're dealing with at the moment. Now, here's a look at the rain that is still to come. Again, we're not talking tremendous amounts of rain, but you have to keep in mind for a lot of these locations, they've already had plenty. So even an additional inch is enough to trigger more landslides, mudslides, and not to mention flash flooding. Here's a look. Now, this low has had a very odd path. It's gone north and come back down south, and it's going to end up coming back down to the southeast, basically skirting along the west coast. And as it does, it's going to continue to bring very heavy rain to the coast and then some snow to the interior portions of the state. Now, here's a look as we go into Monday, especially into Tuesday. We finally start to see the storm begin to die down in some areas, especially Oregon and Washington state finally starting to dry back out, but it's still got to go through the rest of the day today. We could be looking at an additional 1 inch, but in Southern California where they need it, could be